Greetings, guys. Now, I just wanted to connect really quickly. I have been working on a new method of channeling just over the last couple of days, and I found that it's been very effective and had some really impactful messages come through from different beings, different collective consciousnesses, and different councils. Coming forward to give messages about humanity and how we're going to move forward and what things are going to look like. So typically, you're used to me speaking light language and speaking directly to your soul and doing upgrades, doing healing. But this was different. I kept hearing this voice in my head. And every time I would go to explain to somebody what is being said with the voice in my head, I would only have light language come out. And then I would have to change that light language back to English, and it would be hard for me to change it back to English. It felt very much like I was like when you're swimming and you're swimming in the flow and you're like paddling, you're doing your strokes, and then you have to stop to take a breath and then go back again. While it's doable, it's not the easiest. So I asked the being finally, like, how do I put this forward in English? How do I make this come out of my mouth in English? Because when you guys start transmitting the information to me, I go to talk about it or say it, and it only comes out in light language. Like, it's driving me crazy. What do I do? Because I see people like go in trance and then they just talk in English what's coming through, like it comes through them. I'm like, that's not something that is working for me. What do I do? So I'm like having this conversation with my higher self in the morning, like, what do I do? I need guidance on this. Like, there's a lot of good information, but I can't get it out of me. Like, what do I do? And they reminded me, like, hey, when you were a kid, remember those stories that you used to write? And when you would write them on paper, it was hard. And when you would go to type them out, it was like the words flowed from your head right into your hands. I was like, yeah. They're like, that was channeling. And I was like, huh, okay. All right, so what does that mean? And they're like, so just type the words that you hear in your head. And I was like, oh, that's genius. Okay. So off I went. So I laid on my grounding mat, turned it on. I cleared my channel. I played frequency music in the background to hold that channel. And then I heard it in my head. They were like, can you hear me? And I was like, I can hear you. Can you hear me? And they're like, yes. I'm like, who am I speaking to? And they're like, you're the collective council of one. Okay, so why are you connecting with me? And then I would just type what I was hearing. So I have about 11 pages of typed content at this point, because when I have a message that's coming in, I will be going about my day-to-day life, and suddenly I will see something that sends energy through me, and suddenly my hand will do that. And it will just start twitching and jerking all by itself. It feels a lot like I don't have control over my hand. It just has these involuntary movements that happen. And that is my clue that there's about to be a voice that comes into my head, and it needs to be written out on my computer. A lot of times it's in the morning time. A lot of times that's before bedtime. Sometimes it's when my kiddos go down for a nap. It can be at any time, really. If somebody sends me a voice clip, the frequency in which they hold triggers that feeling for me, and in comes a being to transmit a message. So it's been an intense couple of days. Since about the 23rd is when I started typing content out. There's a lot of content around what's moving, like the transitions, the system, in terms of like, not our financial system, but the way we operate here on Earth. They call it the system. There's a lot of information coming forward about Mercury and how the alignment of Mercury is playing a big part of things right now. Different beings coming in to talk about DNA structures, about detoxing, about toxicities within our energy fields, and beings that are coming in to reassure, like, hey, this is what you guys need to do. This is what you guys need to know. So last night's message was very important. The important part about it was the being talking about integrating the codes that are coming in right now. So I'm just going to read you a bit of that conversation because it's pretty cool to hear. Let me just pull it up for us. So let's see. Here it comes. So this is what it says. We are assisting humanity in the oversights that have come to light. At this time, it's required that humanity look to settle the incoming influxes of abundant light codes. The codes are available to those that understand the process of ascension and what is needed. For those that are struggling with their ascension journey, it's okay to relax and understand that help is available. When bringing the codes into your body, it is helpful to relax and breathe as they penetrate deeply. The time to anchoring codes is less concerning, and the more attention placed on how to anchor them is paramount. The codes are sacred and can only be utilized by those that are in need. For those that do not need codes or have already received the codes, this will be an easier time. So then I can also ask questions. I say, how do we anchor codes? They respond, the codes are anchored in using pinpoints, a point system that runs through the human vessel. The best way to use the pinpoints is to ask that they activate and visualize them. Visualizing a system that runs through your body and anchors codes. The codes will oftentimes look like sacred geometry and embed around particular openings like your mouth, nose, ears, and eyes. The best way to integrate the codes is to rest. So those are the kinds of messages that are coming in right now. That one came in last night at about 11 p.m. But they're ongoing, and I'm going to keep you guys posted as to like what else is coming in, because it's always interesting and something new. So if you are wanting more information about channeling, how channeling works, how to hold your channel from being distorted, how to discern what's happening, how to connect different types of channeling, we meet on a Saturday evening and on a Tuesday morning. The information is up in my bio, in my link tree. If this was resonating with you, then be sure to share it with a friend and be sure to follow me so you can have more of these tips and strategies. Thanks, guys.